Translation of the song, which is spiritual only down in the love. Say, Lord Krishna is the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the transcendental lover and the beloved of Raja, the beloved Guru. Krishna is nickname of Krishna. Karma is nickname of Krishna. The wealth of the life is equity. He steers the mind of even keep it and punishes the coming of suffering. These two holy names in Greek of Lord Hari are full of spiritual pastimes. Krishna is the Lord of the 12 forests of Brahma. He is ever useful and is the best of lovers. He is always playing on the flute and is an excellent dresser. Krishna is the protector of the inhabitants of murder, the destroyer of various demonic dynasties, the keeper and taker of Nanamara's cows, the giver of pleasure to the cows, land, and spiritual senses, the husband of mothers of fortune, the butterseed, and the beautiful covered oil of Nanda. Krishna wanders along the banks of the river Yamuna. He stole the garments of the young dancers of Brahma, who are begging there. He delights in the mellows of the rasadas. He is very merciful, the lover and beloved of Srimati Radharani. the great dancer of Vrindavan, and the shelter and only refuge of Thakur Bhaktivinoda. Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj ki. So we continue our recitation of our Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, as it is, chapter 18, text chapter 18. Vishayendriya samyoga Tirtharaj Tirtharaj Parinami Vishamtiva Tastukam Vishayendriya samyoga Yastad agre amrotapamam Pariname Visham Eva Tatsukam Rajasam Smritam Vishaya Indriya Samyoga Yattad Agre Amrutapam Pariname Visham Eva Tatsukam Rajasam Smritam Vishayendriya Samyoga Yattad Agre Amrutapam Pariname Visham Eva Tatsukam Rajasam Smritam Vishaya Indriya Samyoga Yattad Agre Amrutapamam Pariname Visham Eva Tatsukham Rajasam Smritam Vishayendriya Samyoga Yattad Agre Amrutapam Pariname Visham Eva Tatsukham Rajasam Smritam Vishaya of the objects of the senses. Indriya and the senses. Samyoga from the combination. Yat which. Tat that. Agre in the beginning. Amrutapamam just like nectar. Pariname at the end. Visham Iva like poison. Tat that. Sukham happiness. Rajasam in the mode of passion. Smritam is conceived. Translation. That happiness which is derived from the contact of the senses with their object, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. Repeat after me, please. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which like nectar at the first, but poison at the end, is said to be the nature of passion. Back to the nature part. A young man and a young girl, young woman will meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and have sexual intercourse. In the beginning, this may be very pleasing to the senses, becomes just like poison. They are separated, or there's divorce, there's lamentation, there's sorrow, etc. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. Happiness derived from a combination of the senses and the sense objects is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all means. So the three tribes see that we have the nature of happiness in the mode of passion. So Prabhupada gives example, basic example, what happens to one world, where the main driving force of this world, the sense perception, the highest form of sense perception, is considered to be just the meeting of men and women to have sex. In the beginning, the Prabhupada says, this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, or after some time, it becomes just like poison. Why? Because a lot of the times that everything that we do with the senses, when we go to it repeatedly, then we want something else. Like the other day we were saying in class, that after achieving a certain particular platform, then you want to go to the next level. So, within the usually nature of Maya will be teaching the young man to think that by having sex with other women, he might get something better than what he's having at home. But like Prabhupada says, sex life is just like a skin disease. You have an itch, you scratch it. And if you continue scratching it, sooner or later it becomes a wound. Sooner or later it will become a wound. And that is how all these pleasures that are derived from sense perception do arrive. One of the reasons why I chose this song today in Glorify Krishna is that basically everything that Krishna does in this song, we also do it here. But we are doing it not on a transcendental platform, but we are doing it on a material platform. And based on that material platform, we are either glorifying Krishna or they are glorifying our own senses. So, like we say that all of us are sometimes the beloved children of our own parents. Just like Krishna and beloved son of their children. He being the transcendental lover of the Lamb of Brother, the Latin vocal, and the wife of the Robins, he is so attractive that he will come and pull away, even Cupid, who is actually going to overcome anybody. He will even take away Cupid through his attractiveness. But by his holy names, which are sweeter than heaven, the holy names of Krishna are derived from the different pastimes. So even us in our families, we have our names that we have, but they derive from the activities that we perform. You have the father's position, he is go to their father. The mother's position, she is go to their mother. The brother's position, he is go to their brother. The son, the daughter. All these positions that we have in our family life are based on the positions that we carry out in our own day-to-day activities and how we fit in into the entire picture of the family paradigm. So, because Krishna's full names are sweet and eternal pastimes, and being the Lord of all the forests, he's playing on his flute. We are today who speak the flutes, people go down dancing with the flutes. So whatever Krishna is doing, because we are minuscule parts and parcels of Krishna, we also practice that. But if it is not done in Krishna consciousness, then it takes it away from the original goal. But if it is done in Krishna consciousness, it brings us back who is a party Krishna, where now we can go and enjoy again in Raj. We can go and dance again in Raj. All these things are promised us that my devotees never perish. Krishna says, my devotees never perish. So we have to be able that as we attach ourselves to these things, we have to be very, very Krishna. We actually notice as one thing that Krishna is an excellent dresser. All of us, before we go and leave our houses, we always try and check ourselves in the mirror. How am I dressed? We are always looking. How is my face looking? How am I going to be perceived outside? We first of all check on ourselves to see how the other world is going to perceive us. But Krishna, he does it for the pleasure of the residents of Raj. So we are told that he's an excellent dresser. He dresses very well. He's smart. And by that, he's also showing us that we have to be smart when we are dealing with everybody else. He is the protector of the inhabitants of Raj. Krishna is protecting us. He's the destroyer of demoniac dynasties. The different demoniac dynasties also have certain particular direct or indirect connotation to certain activities in our own lives that are either unwanted or are lacking, that should be got rid of. So when Krishna is giving pleasure to the cows, the land, and the spiritual senses, these are all, according to us, here in the material world, regulated. And that's why Prabhupada brought the 4 regulations. The 4 regulations regulate how we deal with our senses, because if they are not regulated, we are bound to go astray. We are bound to be misled. We are bound to leave the proper path of bhakti yoga and also be not very conducive to the whole system of Sanatana Dharma. So whatever Krishna does, he does it as an example. Just like when Prabhupada was here, everything Prabhupada did was supposed to help us learn from him how to worship Krishna. Everything Prabhupada did. Prabhupada was the perfect acharya. Everything he did was smarter, proper, timely, just to lead us so that we could also, in the end, be able to do the things the way he did it. And you can see that his legacy lives on. From the time that he passed in 1977 up to now, though it's a relatively short time, but his legacy still lives on. His legacy still lives on. Why? Because it's backed up by Krishna. Prabhupada's legacy is backed up by Krishna. Everything he did for Krishna. Right from childhood, when he was still a child, he used to have his own Ratha Yatra festival. He would go around pulling a Rath cut. So everything, right from his childhood, he was actually he was involved in the Krishna Lila, one way or the other. One way or the other, he was always involved in the Krishna Lila. So there was no way and there was no time that you could find that Prabhupada was not Krishna conscious. And by that, he was also trying to tell us, live like this. It's easy, it's better. It makes life more profitable. It makes life more accountable. It makes life to be the right thing that you will feel to do. It will not be, it might seem very bitter in the beginning, but once you're tuned to it, once you are regulated by it, then it becomes now spontaneous. The rules and regulations are supposed to help us to become spontaneous. And if you're not getting spontaneous, then we are not making any spiritual progress. So our sadhana is supposed to bring us to the platform of spontaneity, whereby we worship Krishna out of pure love, just automatically, directly from the soul, because that is actually the propensity of the soul. So we are now trying to tune, through sadhana bhakti, we are trying to tune the body and the soul to work in tandem, to work together. So these rules and regulations that have been kept are supposed to assist the body to work in tandem with what the soul's natural constitutional position is, or what we call the dharma of the soul. Because Prabhupada explains, a lot of people interpret dharma to be religion, but Prabhupada says that dharma is not actually religion, it is the intricate characteristic of something that without which that thing cannot exist. Like he gives the example of the intricate characteristic of sugar is sweetness. So if sweetness is removed from sugar, then there's no sugar. So similarly, when dharma is removed from the soul, then there is no soul. So the dharma of the soul, Hare Krishna, the dharma of the soul is service to Sri Krishna. The dharma of the soul naturally is service to Sri Krishna. In this world, a lot of people want to be masters, but by the end, if you look at it, no matter what platform, from the king or from wherever, we are actually all servants. The king might be there. There was an example that Prabhupada was giving one day of a high court, a high court judge who somebody came to see, and in that time, the high court judge was busy playing with his little child. So he was playing with the little child, he became like a horse. So he was down on his knees playing with his little child. To the person who came to see him, he's a high court judge. But to his child, whom he was serving now as a horse in a human body, he was serving him as a horse in a human body, then he was actually serving him, but to him, he was still thinking, I am master, I am his father. So whatever positions we have, whatever interactions we have, maybe within the family or on the larger scale of the human family, we are actually all servants. And unless and until we realize that, then we cannot even know how to serve Krishna properly. So by having this sadhana bhakti, it makes us humble and brings us to the platform of Sharanagati, platform of surrender. That platform of surrender, from that surrender, then now we can now start progressing. Hearing and chanting, remembering. And then when we start now serving, that service comes spontaneously from what we've heard, what we've chanted, and what we've remembered. That way, we'll be making progress in spiritual life. Because spiritual life, like Bhakti Vinod says, and also Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he says that spiritual life is supposed to be progressive. It's not stagnant. The practice that we have, the practice might be there and be consistent. But the realization that we get out of that practice is progressive towards being spontaneous and actually in the end becoming an intricate part and parcel of us. We become inseparable from our own actions in serving Krishna. Hare Krishna.